This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
For quite some time, we've been contemplating visiting the oldest Jewish cemetery here in New York, the first She'eretz Israel cemetery. We're here at 5557 St. James Street Place in New York, New York. And as you could see, we can't get in. The information given is open 24 hours a day, but it's actually gated and locked 24 hours a day. But our friend who we met here, one of the prominent tour guides of New York, has agreed to get in for us and take some inspiring footage of the Kever of Gershom, Mendes, Seixas, who lived from 1745 to 1816. Jewish life began more than 100 years before the Revolutionary War. In 1776, 2,500 Jews dotted the countryside of New York, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Georgia, and the leading Jewish figure of the time was Gershom Mendes Seixas. He was the chazan in Kahal She'eretz Israel. His father, Isaac Mendes Seixas, was a Marano from Lisbon in Portugal. His father married Rachel Levy, an American-born daughter of Moses Levy. But at the time, no permanent rabbi served colonial America. And the chazan at first in She'eretz Israel was Joseph Gershom Pinto from Amsterdam, who took the job in 1758 at the age of 29. And he made important contributions to the community. He made the first halachic Jewish calendar for New York. And in 1766, he left for Europe for personal reasons. 1768, Gershom Seixas, a student of Joseph Gershom Pinto, at 23 years old, applied and got the job. And now this Rabbi, Reverend Gershom Seixas, was a chazan, a shoichet, as we'll see, a moyel, but he was not a musmach. He did not have smicha. 1775, he married Elkala Cohen. They had 4 children. 10 years later, Elkala died. And he married Hannah Manuel, and he had with her 9 more children. So some of his important contributions: in 1802, a Jewish stranger died in Potter's Field, and he did not have a proper kavura, so he organized the Hebra Hesed Ve'emes, the first Kever Kadisha. In 1798, he founded a tzedakah called Kalfei Sadaka Matan Beseter. He had exemplary dedication for the mitzvah of Milah. In 1811, at 66, he left New York to perform Milah in Montreal. It was a many-week travel. Many weeks he traveled. Then he traveled up to Three Rivers, Canada, circumcising another 2 more babies and a 4th in Berthieville. He spent 34 days traveling for the circumcision of 4 children with hazardous roads, hostile Indians surrounding him, wild animals, and he hardly made any money. He was compensated 24 shillings, and 22 of them went for his travel expenses. But he was the primary religious authority in New York at the time, and some of the questions he dealt with were, must a kohen be called for the first aliyah? And he responded in the affirmative. And he was asked whether you can remove the bodies in a cemetery that was going to be flooded. These were some of the she'elas that he dealt with. He became ill in 1813 and passed away July 2nd, 1816. What a hashgacha it is that today, Zayin Adar, the day of the Patir of Moshe Rabbeinu, when the Kever Kadisha fast, we're visiting the grave of the one who instituted the first Kever Kadisha in the United States of America. Zechusa Yagin Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.